I'm curious what you think is your advantage when you write.
At this point, I think experience is helpful. Like, we've just made a lot of movies, and I've just seen firsthand what works and what doesn't a lot. And I have gotten much better at recognizing what a movie needs and how to give it that thing.
Right.
And I think it's being able to access, to understand what people connect to and trusting that the things that you connect to, other people will also connect to. Because that's like a lesson we also learned very early on. We're like, Superbad, like, there was always this sense of like, is our high school experience very specific and unrelatable? We're just writing what's happening to us. We are Jewish Canadian boys in Vancouver. Like, it's pretty niche, you know?
Yeah.
And then it became the most successful high school movie of all time. So there was this lesson where it was like, oh no, like, the more almost specific you make it to you, the more it weirdly has this inverse equation where it opens it up to other people. And strangely, the more specific you make it to the things you care about and the things you find interesting, the more people like it, not the less. And that is something that we just have also like grown to trust, is like, okay, if we think this is, if we relate to this, if this is something like with Longshot, there was a lot of talk about like, why did you choose the career you chose? Who was that person versus who you are now? Which is something I like very much relate to. It's like, why did we get into this? And if the person who hoped to get into this looked at where you were, would they be happy? Would they be like, mother, this was not why we wanted any of this stuff, you know? And I think that's something that movie, it took us a long time to think of that. And it is like a really, you would watch all the trailers for the movie and never know that's a part of it. And that's by design, because it's those, I remember Amy Pascal years ago told me a quote from Robert Towne that was like, a good movie at the start, the thing that seems most important is actually the least important, and the thing that seems the least important is actually the most important. So like, with Superbad is like a very, we had done that without realizing it, kind of, where it's like, you think it's all about like losing your virginity and getting laid, and there's this little seed of like, oh, we're not going to college together, and then like it totally shifts throughout the course of the movie, you know. And I think with Longshot, it's done well in a similar way, where it's like, it's all about becoming president and these aspirations and these career goals, and then there's this little thing about like, yeah, morally, maybe I'm not doing these things for the right reasons, and maybe I'm not quite who I wanted to be when I was a child. And then one just completely swallows up the other, you know? And I think like that's something that,
it's
again,
subversive.
Experience, it has,
subversive empathy.
Yeah, exactly. It's tricking the audience into, it's like, it's luring them in with plot and giving them story instead, you know? Which is also something we talk a lot about, is like plot versus story. Like, plot is like the things that are happening, and the story is like what it's actually about. And like, the plot should be the thing that seems the most important at first, and the story should be like in there, but almost recognizable. And then as the movie goes on, like, that ratio should completely reverse itself, you know? I remember with 4-Year-Old Virgin, that's what Judd was saying. Like, that was the first real like movie experience I had, and because I was like, this movie's really like good and smart and emotional. Like, why are we calling it 4-Year-Old Virgin? And like, and the trailers just seem so like reductive. And he was like, no, the whole thing is like, we're going to trick people into seeing a movie that is smarter than one they would want to see. And I was like, oh, I get that. It's actually smart.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, then why not subscribe? Click right here for lots more off camera. And if you want to see the hour-long version of these conversations, I'm going to give you the secret link. Here it is, offcamera.com. Check it out.